everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Missa, or technically Melissa, but I go by Missa. And today, as you can see with the title, we are going to be playing with the new Huda Beauty Nudes palette. This bad boy came today in the post. I got it on Feel Unique, next day delivery, paid like £7 for that because everyone kept texting me saying, but Cult Beauty's got free shipping, it's got free shipping. I've never had a package from Cult Beauty that hasn't come before 3 days. Like, I'm always waiting days and days and days for Cult. So I ordered it and paid for shipping. I'm happy to pay for shipping if I get something immediately. Anyway, I digress. We're going to be playing with the Huda Beauty Nude palette. This is what she looks like. And she comes in a kind of white box. I really like that box actually. And this is her. So inside you get an absolutely massive mirror, and then you get 18 eyeshadows. She's been touting this because there is 4 shadows in here that are like a new formula. I'm gonna put a video up on screen of when I first got the palette and I hadn't even touched it, because I wanted to really show you what mine looks like up close and personal, and all the kind of specs in these like fancy shades and what they look like. So you'll be seeing that just now, I hope, if my editing skills are any good. So what we are going to do, as always in my new palette videos, we are going to put it on my eyes. I did this look here, and we are going to do swatches, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the palette. I do just want to say, I got this maybe about 1 o'clock today. It is now 6:45 at night, and I did 2 looks on my eye and I hated them both. I was really struggling with them until I finally got to this look that I'm happy with, and I am really happy with how this look turned out. But when I tell you my final thoughts, you'll kind of find out why I've got some issues with this palette. Overall, I really like it, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. But there's a couple, there's a mouse in my room. Hopefully he runs into the kitchen and steps in a mousetrap. But anyway, we are going to now jump into the swatches of the palette, and I'm just going to talk about each shade then. I'm not going to go for too long, hopefully, but it's me and I tend to talk a lot. I'm going to swatch down my arm just here, and let's jump into it. This first shade is called Bare, and it is literally just a my skin tone kind of colour. Like, I would use that to set my eyeshadow base. The next shade is Crave, and this is one of those funky kind of weird ones. It's super metallic and kind of wet looking, and once you blend it out you don't really see the kind of white chunks in it, but it's a really pretty shade. That's what it's on the very front of my eyelids today. Then we've got the shade Play, which is a lovely matte peach, really pigmented. I really like this shade. I definitely want to use that more in my next look because I love peach transition shades. Then we have another funky kind of textured shadow called Fantasy. Really beautiful shade. I'm wearing that on my eyelids as well. And then we've got Love Bite. This is a deep matte purple. I say deep matte purple, it's the deepest shade in the palette, and it isn't actually that deep, which is one of my issues with the palette. Then we have the shade Spanked, which is a nice matte, and then we have Lace, which is a kind of cool toned Bon Fresco kind of colour. I mean, this palette is looking beautiful, and it's actually swatching really nicely as well. I wasn't sure how it would swatch. Another funky formula called Daydream. That's super pretty. And then this next one is Tickle, which is a matte. This is swatching beautifully. And I know swatches aren't like that important, but it does show the colour of the shadow, but it's swatching beautifully. The next 2 shadows are pure pressed glitter. So if these don't swatch nicely, don't hold that against them because it's glitter. You need to use a glitter glue. So this first one is called Excite. It's beautiful. And then we've got Infatuate, which is actually the one I am wearing underneath my eyes. I do close-ups and everything of my eyes later on, but they are pressed glitters, which is why it looks quite patchy. You need to use a, an eyeshadow glitter glue. Then we've got the only kind of traditional shimmery shadow in the palette. This is called Kinky. And I have actually used a little bit of that today. That's just a beautiful shadow. Then we've got the concealer, which is called Concealed instead of Concealer. You're not really going to see that much on me because it is just a concealer. Then we have the shade Secret, which is like a kind of, it's a purplish brown matte. And then we have Tease, which is a deeper, it looks really brown in the pan, but it's definitely a purple. Then we have the shade Raw. I'm really good at swatches, which is another matte, another funky one, which is a really pretty shade. That's called Charmed. I obviously don't know the shade names yet. And then our last matte called Teddy. So whilst I am a lover of warm tones, I'm not really a lover of like brown palettes and like orange palettes, but I am a huge sucker for pink and purple and mauvey palettes, absolutely. So you can kind of see why I really wanted this palette. Plus I have the Desert Dusk and the Rose Gold, which I really love, and then I've got the, what's it called, Sapphire Obsessions that I also really love. So my Huda collection is something that I'm definitely growing. I love my Huda products that I've got. I've not really got any complaints about any of them except that the foundation potentially breaks me out. But overall I do find Huda beauty products very high quality, very expensive but very high quality. So now we're going to move into me putting the palette on my face. I'm not wanting to make this video too long, but I probably will be, knowing me. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the tutorial and let's jump into it. So I'm first of all picking up the shade Love Bite, which is like the deepest shade I think in the palette, and it's a deep purple. I'm in such a rush, I don't even have my like fake ponytail in right now. I'm going to start putting this in my crease, outer corner to inner corner. I'm not trying to blend it out right now, I'm literally just trying to pack it on. And I've also obviously not got my base on, by the way, because, I mean, hold on. Sorry, I just brightened my ring light. I've not got my base on because inexperience with Huda shadows, they do have quite a lot of fallout. So, and I am picking up the shade Tickle on a fluffier brush. I'm gonna start just blending out all around of that shade. Then on a bigger, fluffier brush, I'm picking up the shade Lace, which is a really pretty cool toned like lilac shade. Look at I'm such a mess today. I hope you guys don't mind too much. I am finding that these shadows are blending very easily, but I do find that although I've packed that purple on, that deep purple, I mean look at that shade compared to my eyelid, like it has just kind of blended off, which can happen when you're going with lots of like other blending shades, but it's kind of worn off faster than I would have expected. I'm going back in with a bit more of the shade Tickle. And then I'm going to go back in with the shade Love Bite and just really deepen up my crease. Big fluffy brush and the shade Secret. Just taking Love Bite, and I'm going to pop that on my outer corner. So I'm really quickly going to cut my crease, and then we're going to move on to the kind of more exciting metallic shades. Like, that lid is so pretty. So give me 1 second. I've cut my crease a zillion times on my channel, so I'm just going to whiz through this. I'm not using a concealer in the palette because I did try it on this eye and I found it wasn't very pigmented. Like, I think it's good as a base to just pat on or something, but when you're wanting quite a stark cut crease, to me it just wasn't pigmented enough, so I'm just using my own concealer. We're going in with our first funky shade, which is called Crave. I'm just going to start packing that on, probably like up until halfway on my eye. It's a really gorgeous, super metallic, like golden champagne sparkle. Like, my eyelid looks so reflective. I do really like this colour and I really like this formula so far. I need to get closer to the mirror. And I do find it does apply really nicely with a brush. This is my blank canvas E27 and I really like it for like packing these metallic shades on. Not this one, that's for the first time, but like metallic shades in general. So that is that first shade. It's so beautiful, isn't it? And then the second shade I'm going to go in with, same brush, and this shade is called Fantasy. This has a really nice like mauvey shift to it. That shade again applies really beautifully with a brush, but I am just going to go in with my finger and just intensify it. I think it does apply nicer with a finger, but it does apply nicely with a brush. You don't need those like fancy brushes that she's released, in my opinion, like to use this palette. And on the outer corner I'm going to use the shade Kinky. Okay, so you can see I've got a pretty significant amount of fallout. I'm going to clean that up, throw on just a black line in my lashes, do my skin, and then we'll be back for lower lash line, because I just want this video to be about the eyes. I don't want it to be too long, because it is going to be long anyway, so I'll be back in a second. For my under eye, I'm going to pick up the shade Spanked, Naughty Naughty, Terribly Naughty, and oh, I'm just going to pack that on. I've definitely got fallout though. Like that, and then I'm going to blend it out with the shade Lace, this one here. Because we're going in with glitter. So I'm just going to run the glitter glue all the way along. And then I'm picking up the shade Infatuated, which just has the most beautiful reflex in it. That's it, that's all I'm going to do to my under eye really. I might just run a tiny bit more of Spanked just below it. So I'll throw on my mascara and a lip and then we're done. Here we are then, this is my finished Huda Beauty Nude palette look. I've pulled my hair up into a very severe bun, but put earrings on to try and take your eyes away from the fact that I have no hair. I'm almost bald, so that's fun. This is obviously the finished look. I really love that glitter on the lower lash line. I'm glad I did that. I wanted to use a glitter anyway, so I made use of that. I'm really pleased with this look, 100%. Absolutely, I've got no issues with it. I'm off to Asda to do my weekly shop and I'm going to feel good while shopping. However, there's a few things I do, you know, want to kind of address about the palette. So my first qualm, I just love that word, is that there's no really deep shade in here. Like if you had super deep skin, I feel like all of these shades would look really, really ashy on you. I'd like to see someone with a really deep skin color use it and see what it looks like. But even I wanted to dip into another palette and use a black or a really deep brown or a really deep purple because I felt like I couldn't get that depth that I usually get. So there's not a deep enough shade in here for me. To be honest, apart from that, there's not a lot I don't like. I don't like the concealer in the palette. Like it's not that pigmented. You can probably see that there. Like it's pretty sheer. It's more like a primer, like a tinted eye primer. And I don't like when creams are in palettes with powders because I just think the powder gets stuck in the cream and it's just a bit of a mess. They blended really beautifully. I don't have any issues with that. The shades that I used, I didn't find patchy. I didn't find them hard to blend. I really did like them. And the super kind of weird shades, as I like to call them, I mean, they are really, really beautiful. They definitely come out different than they look in the pan. Like I feel like this one here, which is the shade Daydream, looks a lot more kind of pink and pretty, but it's more like deep. I mean, it's still a beautiful shade, but it just doesn't look exactly the same as it does in the pan. My other thing about it is that it's not truly unique, and I feel like if you have bought yourself the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette, you don't need this. This is £56, so it's, in my opinion, that's like super expensive. I don't mind spending that on Huda Beauty palettes because I've got the Desert Dusk and I've got the Rose Gold and I love them both so much, and this is going to go like slot in so nicely with those two. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I have it, but could I dupe this out for another palette in my collection? Yes, 100%. Like I said, the Gingerbread Spice, the gingerbread one by Too Faced that I've got, I think is pretty similar to this, except it doesn't have the glitters. Let me know what you think of this look. Let me know what your thoughts are on the palette. Are you going to pick it up or have you already? Or are you definitely not going to buy it for some reason? I do really like it on my eyes. Like I said, I feel good, but I could probably recreate this look with a few palettes in my collection. So did I need it? No. But did I want it? Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm pleased, but it's definitely not a necessity. It's not like Dose of Colours Friendcation that everybody needs in their lives. Anyway, like I said, let me know what you're thinking about it down in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and please give it a thumbs up if you haven't, and subscribe if you haven't already, because 2019 is coming and I really want to hit 20k and it is possible. So please subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye.